This is the 4th edition of the Celeste Prize. It's our international prize, which is born out of work that we began with the Italian prize, which is now, which this year was at its 9th edition. So we had a fairly mature prize that is now being accompanied rapidly by a successful international prize, which I think this year personally has been our best yet. We have some very, very strong conceptual works, but works which are also dialoguing with a lot of contemporary themes. We have a very strong curator this year that is both institutional on one side. Katia Garcia-Ton has curated the Spanish Pavilion in 2011, but she's also working in Gaza only a few weeks ago. So we have a very animated and stimulated environment in which the international prize takes place. We had this year 1,400 subscriptions. That's more than last year. So on that simple point, we have a better result, and more people are being attracted to the prize because of the visibility and the promotion that it's able to provide through its own network, but also all the ancillary networks that now everyone has, networks of friends, but also professional networks, and obviously media-related exchange, also through reasonably well-run prizes, like I hope ours is now an extremely important part of an artist's work and self-promotion that he can, or she can exercise. So the International Prize, just to go back on the actual differences, artists who present works in the International Prize can be from any corner of the world without any restrictions of age or sex or professional experience, or whether they've had important or non-important institutional or private shows. And whilst the Italian prize is reserved exclusively for artists, Italian or non-Italian, who are working and are resident in Italy or are having shows during the course of that year in Italy. So something to do with Italy, and those are the differences.
Sin dal titolo si capisce landscape, ipotesi, e poi il numero progressivo identifica tutte le foto successive della ricerca, che sono arrivate a 40, oltre 40 ormai, e parla praticamente di una ricognizione sul tema del paesaggio, ma in realtà ha molti punti di riferimento con quella che in genere viene definita New Aesthetics, il cui principale teorico è Michael Paraskos, e quindi è una ricognizione sul concetto di digitale, su come ha cambiato la nostra identità visiva del nostro concetto di vero. Ogni immagine, seppur apparentemente insomma, si ricollega al tema del paesaggio classico e sembra di vedere un'immagine del paesaggio, poi in realtà rappresenta un collage di varie parti del paesaggio che si costituiscono insieme a cercare di una identità narrativa che la cultura del relativismo ha in qualche modo ucciso inevitabilmente. Questo perché è la nostra esigenza a raccontarci che ci spinge ancora a identificare il tema del paesaggio, quando ormai gli elementi sono una sintassi che io definisco sghemba, perché vengono da profili diversi, da foto diverse che si vanno ad incastrare l'una nell'altra a formare l'identità visiva che poi costituisce l'immagine.
Este trabajo se llama Curtains, son toldos que están hablando de una manera irónica sobre situaciones sociales, ¿no? Mi trabajo gira en torno a lo que son transgresiones que están ocurriendo y han ocurrido en nuestra sociedad actualmente, ¿no? Y me dedico a recoger esos objetos que me encuentro por la calle, los reproduzco y intervengo espacios con esos objetos que creo, como son estos toldos, ¿no? Que normalmente tienen una funcionalidad que es dar sombras en las ventanas de los edificios, pero en esta ocasión no hay ventana a lo que dé sombra, ¿no? Realmente el objeto importante es el toldo, ¿no? Y es de una manera, hay una cierta ironía en torno a lo que es la obra de arte, ¿no? Hacia lo que puede ser la pintura, ¿no? o la escultura, ¿no? La tela ya no es importante, ¿no? Lo que importa en esta obra de arte es la sombra que se produce contra la pared o el objeto que hay es colocado dentro del espacio de arte.
So this piece is it's an Associated Press wire photograph from 1992, from just after the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, and it's depicting a mother at the funeral for her child. And what I've done is I've overlaid it with lapis lazuli pigment, which is sourced from mines in Badakhshan province, which is near to Kabul, where this photograph was taken. And I've overlaid the image. And it's about, I mean, during the Renaissance in Christian iconographic painting, lapis lazuli was the most prized pigment. It was more valuable than gold, and so for that reason it was reserved for iconographic scenes of the Virgin Mary and the baby Jesus, and so there's a kind of a relationship between the Islamic prohibition of figurative imagery and the way that photojournalism uses kind of certain tropes from Christian iconography.
Called Sendai, and is a response to the terrible catastrophe in Fukushima with that enormous water wave that destroyed everything, and it was inspired by the films that were made by the helicopters flying over this landscape with these ruins, which, even though it was such a terrible event which cost so many people so much, there was this particular kind of terrifying beauty in this landscape which was so changed. And especially after a few days it snowed, and there were these beautiful photographs of these films made flying over these white ruins. And it started off as a doodle, as a response. It was almost a meditation. I want to use the word prayer about the fates of the people involved and the reaction of what happens to our fragile little world when the earth reacts as it did with this dreadful earthquake. And hidden in these it's drawn with sepia ink on rice paper, and then adhered to a canvas. And hidden inside the drawings, you'll find people and you will find cars. So it's not as desolate as it looks at first. There is again the beginning, people tidying up, people working, mankind regaining control over this landscape.